she does all the furniture moving around. She likes to do that shit. She did that the other day. Like, she'll just move it around. And I'm like, hey, babe, you want me to help? She's like, no, I got it. And she's fucking picking up the couch and fucking throwing it and moving it. I'm like, God damn, girl, this fucking work. I was doing shit. She's like, can you move? I'm going to do it myself. And she's like, moved it. And I was like, girl, right. I thought you said your back hurt. Look at you. Welcome back to Just Weirdly Blended After Dark. This is Jesse.
And this is Tom, bringing it to you live on Friday night.
Dude.
Yeah.
I miss those kind of radio stations. Remember, like Delilah?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Delilah. I'm here to get your wife pregnant. And you're like, oh, shit.
What is Delilah?
What are you doing, oh, Delilah?
I mean,
my name's Daniel.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke, but I don't even know what to do with that.
No, you remember Delilah?
No.
You don't remember
Delilah?
Yeah.
That was a real person?
Yeah, she was like a radio personality. She still might be, but I remember she was like a...
Here locally or like a national?
Nah, she's like a national person.
Oh, okay.
But she was on like local stuff, kind of like Bob and Tom in a sense.
Oh, all right. So she had like a local syndication that this syndicated.
Probably like slutted around to different radio stations the way Bob and Tom do.
Hi, I'm from Los Angeles. Dude, my name's Delilah.
Nothing bugs me more than when I'm listening to Bob and Tom and I'm like 97 Rock, cool. And then one day I go to listen to Bob and Tom and I can't find it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, it's 95.3. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, 21.5 Midwest.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it where you had to look at a radio show because like it didn't play in your area anymore, and you had to go online and find it from some stream, and then all you hear is like Midwest Tulsa Tango coming this weekend. Then you have to keep listening to the commercials that are not from your
So there was
area.
one time I downloaded like an app. It was a Bob and Tom app, right? And so I was able to listen to it through that way. And this was years ago.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it.
It just doesn't feel the same.
No.
And I can't listen to them anymore because I have Elliot in the car, and I learned last year that he does in fact pay attention and listen. And he gave me a funny look. He finally got to that age where, like, I forget we weren't even in the car, and he brought up something.
Dad?
And I look at him and I'm like, you know what that means? And he kind of gave me that smirk smile.
I don't know.
I was like,
I feel like
I listen to the news.
I still have it on. Like the girls, I listen to it in the car when the girls are there. They don't. It's not up a lot. It'll just be up enough. But there is times where I'm like listening to something. I'm like, God damn it!
I want to laugh so bad, but.
Or when I'm listening to rap and JJ's in the car, I'll change it. I'll change it to some other kind of music.
Yeah, Blanca was listening to Jack Harlow, I think his name is.
Jack Harlow. Yeah, he's all right.
Oh, he's got some lyrics, though. I was like thinking.
It depends on I don't know what song. I've only heard a few songs of his.
Yeah.
Just because some of his music, I mean, I like him. He's all right, but he's like.
Yeah. I'm not a huge rap guy, so.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
I listened to Theo Von, right? And so I've heard a few like intro songs that he does. And so like I forget what some of what some of the artists are, but I'll look them up on Spotify because I'm like, oh, I like this song. And so I'll start playing.
Kind of go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. Because some of the music's like really cool because it's like there's one that's kind of bluesy-ish. Mm-hmm. And then another one.
Is that Shine Your Love on Me or whatever?
Yeah. I forget what they're called, but
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh, they're a good group. I showed Bucket them, and he loves them.
I wanna tell you my story.
Yeah.
I like
Jackson Brown. I don't remember what they're called.
Jackson Pollock, isn't that a?
Well, and then today was some other guy, Evan Bartels, I think his name was.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool sound of music.
The Sound of Music.
It's the
So speaking of The Sound of Music, that's a musical, right?
Yeah,
and,
terrible.
We were going to go to see the Joker, new Joker movie. And we got in there. We were like 10 minutes late from the time the show actually started. But usually that's fine because it has like 20 minutes or so of commercials beforehand, or, you know, whatever you call them, trailers. So we're going up to pay, and the kid at the counter goes, "Do you sure you want to see this?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Is the whole thing a musical?
And he goes, "It's a musical." And we look at each other, and we kind of laugh thinking he's joking. And the other guy at the counter is just like, yeah, it's a musical.
I hear it's good.
I think a lot of people maybe have walked out of it like, what? Or maybe have left.
I don't know if the whole thing's a musical though.
Yeah, I guess the whole I don't know. I didn't, we weren't really, the way that they kind of confronted us with that, we were like, yeah, let's wait.
I don't want it to be a musical.
I don't either because the first movie was so good. And I just don't see how a musical version would work well for it. But I mean, it is Lady Gaga. She's pretty talented. It's Joaquin Phoenix. He's talented. But
it's singing.
It definitely says that I was reading one review of it, and they said it does not show you how he turns into like the Batman Joker. So it's not progressing.
I don't think they're trying to I don't think they're trying to make that its own where like, Batman will lead into that.
Right.
But I did read somewhere that no. So there's the show The Penguin.
Yeah.
That's on HBO Max or Max or what the fuck you want to call it.
Right. That actually is Colin Farrell, right? That was in the movie of it.
Yeah. Dude, looks.
So he's playing that same penguin character, right? They're making
that's actual makeup too.
That's so nuts. I love that.
It's not CGI.
I hate CGI. I'm getting to the point with movies. One of the things I love so much about Beetlejuice, the new one, was that they used the same old things that they used in the original movie.
Oh, that's what you said. I haven't watched that one yet.
And we talked about that a little bit last week with our model talk. But I'm just saying, like, that it's so predictable these days that you're going to see all this CGI shit. Half the time you look and you're like, a normal ass scene that doesn't have to be CGI, you're like, is that a green screen?
Right.
Are they just in front of
just
a
go
green
outside?
screen?
Jesus Christ, you don't need a fucking green screen the trees.
Right.
No, I hate musicals, right? Mm-hmm. Like I don't like them most of the time. So God, that's going to be disappointing if the whole thing's a musical.
That's the way that they sold it to us. They're like, it's a musical.
I know there's a musical aspect. I didn't know if the whole thing is.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But that's like the movie Moulin Rouge is one I actually like. I'll admit it. And it was musical. Like, it was a true musical, but it was the story I could believe because they're artists, making music anyway. And a lot of times he has to fake it like he is an actor or something along those lines. So when he's singing something, it's like he's trying to convince people that he's really something, right? It allows me to believe it more.
I don't know.
But it's tough.
Well, like
I watched it in a film class. That's probably the only reason why I like it. But
and I hear like The Greatest Showman's actually a pretty good musical.
Never watched it. Tried to watch that one, La La Land.
See, I didn't know that was a fucking musical.
It was like La La, Get Out,
So
when the second they open and people are stuck on the freeway and they start dancing on each other's cars, I know I've talked about this before, but I just can't get over it. No. And at that moment, I was already so out of my element. I'm like, there's no way. If somebody danced on my car in traffic when I can't go anywhere,
I'm beaten.
I'm going to lose my
I'm running them over.
Yeah.
No, see, that's the thing I don't like about musicals, though, is
it's
like...
fake.
Well, yeah, it's like...
How does everybody know the lyrics?
Well, no, so that's what I'm saying. Is like, I'm sitting here, like, cutting some wood, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, my God, I'm cutting wood.
First of all,
I got some wood
Me and all my guy friends, lumberjack guys, start chopping in unison.
Yeah. Like, I hate music.
Isn't that dumb? They wouldn't do that. They're lumberjacks. They don't care.
The only way I listen to anything musical is Disney cartoons.
Yeah, because it's a cartoon.
It's supposed to be that way.
It's called a fantasy.
Yeah.
It's believable because it's already so fake.
And you know what even with that, the one I hated was Fantasia. The Mickey Mouse one.
That was hard to follow.
I hated that movie.
Yeah, I think it's because we weren't on acid. I think that's why we probably didn't get it. You were on acid and still didn't like it. I don't know.
Man, dude, I was on shrooms for weeks.
I remember, was it Billy Madison? Or was it Big Daddy where, what's his name? The actor that was in The Sopranos for a while.
Which one?
Oh, I can't think of his name. Anyway, whatever. A guy that's in a lot of his movies, Adam Sandler's movies, He was the homeless guy. Or no, he wasn't the homeless guy. He was the one that was going to like shoot somebody. And he's like, I watched Fantasia a lot.
Oh, is that the one that marks it off as?
Yeah,
that's Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, that's his name. And maybe I don't remember. I'm getting
Was he in Sopranos?
Oh yeah, season 5.
Oh,
he was cousin Tony B, Tony Bondetto.
He's a good actor. Yeah, we talked about Steve Buscemi.
Tony Bondetto.
Yeah, he was like, it's these crazy eyes.
Steve Buscemi. You don't want the Buscemi coming after you.
Was it in fucking that one where he's like obsessed with, where one of the butler's obsessed with Mr. Deeds?
Oh, Mr. Deeds, yeah.
I like feet. I don't know why. I love that actor, John Turturro or something like that.
Yeah.
He's so funny. But hey, guys, we're actually coming to you on Friday night.
We are coming to you on a Friday.
Just so you don't wonder why we're drinking whiskey on a Sunday morning.
And why
We're
it's so dark, but you can't see because it looks the same as on a Sunday morning.
It really does.
It's pretty wild.
That's why you hear this.
Yeah, you guys don't have a clue. Yeah, for those of you that are just listening in, most of you do. We have like 3 people. No. Most people watch, actually, I think.
I think we get a lot of watchers.
We get a lot of watchers, so you guys already know.
I'm
But
into that,
those
though.
of you that are just listeners, I don't have any ice anymore, but it would
It
be.
melted that quick?
It melted fast, man.
Dude, maybe
But that's
I got
okay. That's all right.
My ice machine's broke, and that's fucking annoying as shit.
Let me tell you, it's been a week of broken stuff.
Yeah?
It's been a week of weird.
For you,
I don't know if anybody else is in that boat. But yeah, like I went to work on Monday morning and internet was really funky. It was working, but you know, like when the printer syncs up in a way where it prints one page at a time instead of like just
I know what you're talking
printing.
about. Yeah.
And where it's like the internet will load, but it takes about 2 minutes to load anything. And it's like one of those mornings where you've got a bunch of stuff you have to have ready to go on time. And you just need things to work.
So the internet at the school.
Yeah, internet at the school.
Okay,
Did I not make that clear?
No,
Sorry.
I thought you were at home.
No. I'm in school right now.
Yeah, okay,
In this
okay.
story, and I'm getting stuff ready, and it's taking 5 minutes for every little thing, and I'm thinking,
yeah.
boy, I'm keeping my cool because I'm at work, but I'm thinking it'd be really nice if the internet would just be normal speed right now.
I have to. Me and my team have to deal with that shit all the time.
I almost called you.
You should have.
I just bitched you out like, why? Why is my
What did
computer
you
not
do?
working?
There, we have there's a clinic manager that was. I think it was Monday too. Actually,
Really?
That Chris.
Really?
Chris, my tech that I was just talking to before the podcast.
Yeah.
She was complaining about internet and like stuff wasn't, this isn't working, this isn't working. I'm like, I had to let him know. Well, that has nothing to do with
It's a service provider issue. That's
no, one of them. So we have this. They're called LabCorp or PAML. They draw blood and everything.
Yeah.
Most people go to those.
Yeah. You see?
But they have their own separate internet provider, right?
Okay.
Like they have nothing to do with our company. So anytime their internet goes down, it doesn't even touch us.
So they
It's
talk to
separate.
you, but it's like, why are you talking?
Well,
to me?
they'll tell us. They'll be like, "Can you guys reset our modem?" And so we do it as a courtesy, right? We'll do that nice, just
like unplug and replug.
that's it.
Plug and play.
And the only reason we do that is so they don't have to like get one of their techs to come out to
so
the
they don't have
side.
to stand up and unplug the thing and plug it back in.
Yeah. Well, they're not the employees aren't allowed in our data closets.
It's in your
But
locked
like
closet. I see.
So we'll do that as a courtesy. But if
Sure,
it's
that makes
down, it's like you guys are gonna have to get one of your techs to come here or something, or you're gonna have to call the fucking charger. We're not doing
Right.
that. Like, and so they were running into issues
on Monday. I guess Verizon had an issue.
Yeah, they were out. Verizon, PlayStation Network was down both days.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
Something's going on. Either there was an update that went awry that was connected, or there was something physical.
I don't
somewhere
know.
That went
It's just to
awry.
distract us from what's really going on in this world.
I think China hit us or something. No, I don't know.
What else happened Monday?
So, well, that was about it. I mean, Monday overall went okay. Wednesday's when my life went down the toilet for about probably 4 hours. Yeah, it was one of those days where it just like went from weirdly bad to even worse. To
weirdly blended.
Where you're like, this is really crappy. I don't know what else could go wrong. And then your toilet overflows and you were gone and you didn't know it.
Yeah.
And it just kept overflowing. Literally, that's what happened to us. So I've been feeling weird feelings around my mid.
It was Sunday when we did our podcast last. You were
Did I
talking
talk about it?
Well, no, you didn't talk about it on the podcast, but
Okay.
you were telling Alicia and I about
So
just been weird feeling.
my back felt like I'd pulled a muscle. Like I just got that feeling like I would stand at my desk at work and feel like I'd pulled a muscle or my back was just tight and tired, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like it needed a good pop, kind of a feel.
Yeah.
And so Blanca was like nice that night and popped my back. And I thought it would help, and it didn't really change anything. And then I started to feel a little bit numb, kind of around
Yeah, you said
my
that. I
side of
remember.
my chest. And I was like, this is just weird. Like, what's going on? And I thought maybe I pinched a nerve. So I was kind of handling it like, I just started working out at the new gym and stuff. So I'm thinking like, maybe I just tweaked something a little bit, just enough. Like
Yeah.
I could still work out. I could still lift things. Like my mobility was fine,
He's like,
everything was like pretty good there, but I just felt this pain, and I'd wake up in the middle of the night and it would just be like unbearable almost pain. I'd have to get up, take like a Tylenol or something and sit up till it passed enough that I could fall back asleep.
yeah, you said you had to sleep on the couch a couple times.
There was
right?
a couple times I had to. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It's nothing like nothing that I couldn't deal with, but it was just like weird.
It's irritating.
Yeah, you just get to that point where you're like, okay, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
why? So my dad, I was over there talking to him like a week ago, and he goes, that sounds kind of how I felt when I had shingles. And I was like, ah. So I thought maybe it would be shingles, but I showed him my skin. I was like, Dad, look. And he goes, nah, it doesn't look like it. Mm-hmm. Well, then Wednesday afternoon, like I was kind of itchy. So it's like achy, itchy.
I hear
were
it
the
burns.
two things. I'm getting the burny stuff now a little bit.
Okay.
But it's like it comes in these weird phases. I got the achy all the time. Like your muscles are just kind of sore or tired.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just itchy. And I don't want to scratch it now, but it's itchy. And then so then I started to feel a bump, and I was thinking like, oh, now I've scratched my skin enough.
Fuck, I'm
getting
I
acne.
got breast cancer.
I got acne, and I got cancer on my back,
my mammary glands.
I got boobs growing on my back. But no, then I got home and I took my shirt off to look at it, and I had red all around from my spine and
What'd
the
you
back.
read?
What's I read?
Just kidding.
The
Go
New
ahead.
York Times.
Go. But you had red on your back?
No, I had read that my back was, it was red, and it went all the way under my arm where I've been feeling numb, and all the way under my like left. I'm going to call it a pec.
Yeah, pec for sure. Don't call it anything else.
And it was like real irritated. I don't have like specific sores yet, but it's like very red, irritated skin. So I was like, I got to run in and just see, because if it's that, you can take an antiviral and it will stop it in its tracks. And if you wait, then you're screwed.
I hear if you wait, sometimes it could be like,
it gets bad. It can go into your face.
well, no,
you
it can be like,
lose-
I heard you could be like pretty deadly.
Pretty, you can be pretty dead.
Die.
You can be pretty dead.
Dude, have you ever heard the shingle commercial? It's the most terrifying commercial.
I will say it's not pleasant, but it's livable. Like I don't think I have a horrible case of it, but it does.
Well, you found it early too.
I found it early enough, I guess.
You were paranoid enough to go
I
to
was
the
paranoid for yeah. Well, I texted my dad that night when I got the sore and sent it. I'm getting very comfortable with my dad in my older age. I sent him a picture with my shirt off, like, Dad, look at this. And he goes, I think that's shingles, buddy. You need to go.
It would be different if you were like, Dad, look,
So-
I got this on my scrotum.
Yeah, Dad, can you give me a shot in my butt? I
Scrotum.
need to
That's
put
such a
muscles
funny
on.
word.
It is kind of funny. Dad, look at my nutsack.
Look at my scrot.
So yeah, I ran in. Sure as shit, the doctor walked in. He's like, "Yep, you got it. That's what that is." And so I got on the antiviral. So I'm taking that, and
Nice.
so that
Nice.
should prevent it from. And honestly, like
I don't care.
the relief I have is that I'm not contagious unless someone were to touch one of my sores. Which why would you do that? It's pretty gross.
I just want to do it.
I know. I mean,
can't. It's
if
intrusive.
you say don't, people are gonna want to.
I
but
was just
am-
wanting to lick them.
So all I wanted was to suck on it a little bit. So gross. So yeah, don't.
So that
look-
was Wednesday night.
Do not look up shingles, and then.
So how long
think
were you
about
at the
looking
hospital Wednesday night?
Not very long. I wasn't like the ER. I just went to the little
Urgent care
thing.
Which
Luckily,
is sometimes
I got
more
in
expensive.
right before they closed.
So when did the toilet thing happen?
So you were getting to that. So I'm like, oh man, hey, at least I have an answer. Because I was getting nervous because I'm like, what is this? Like, is it all in my head? What's going on? Like, I'm feeling weird, but is it just like, am I really feeling weird?
Yeah.
I was like second guessing myself. So at least I knew I'm not overreacting. This kind of sucks. And it is something.
Yeah.
I had an answer, right? So I felt pretty good about that. We went in and got my prescription, and then we ran home. And Blanca goes in our bedroom and into that bathroom. She's like, oh my God. And I'm like, what? The toilet had been overflowing. I don't understand. I do not understand. I will give credit to the dogs. We pick up, we foster and all that. So there's commonly turds around the house that we have to flush away. And it's usually not a problem one. We get home, the toilet's overflowing, and like quite a bit of water. More than usually the toilet fills up if it's clogged and it stops.
This just kept going.
Apparently, because the bottom so we have like one of those water closet type toilets in the bathroom, so it's not out in the full bathroom, it's in its own little closet room.
Yeah.
Well, that floor was soaked. And then Blanca went downstairs for some reason, and water was pouring out of a light fixture in the ceiling. And
nothing like water and electricity.
Yeah, water and electricity. It was great.
Go hand in hand.
So luckily I texted our friend Dave and was like, hey, what do you recommend here? Should I cut the ceiling open to like let it breathe? Should I leave it alone for now? And he's like, I would cut a hole big enough to just look in. And then luckily he had one of those high powered fans.
Did he come over and
He's actually in Hawaii. So congratulations to him and Brooke, they're in Hawaii having a good time.
Not to cut your story off, but we need to go hang out with those guys. It's been a while. I seen him. I seen him on the way back from a gym.
We'll definitely be hanging out with them when they get back. But he was super cool. He's like, hey, run to the house. Like,
here's my code.
You can get in, grab that, and then just plug it in, let it run for a few days. So I've got it running right now. That should be okay, but man, was I losing my mind?
Of course.
You better believe it. I'm
shingles,
thinking
the toilet.
Yeah. I got the shingles. Now I'm running around this place. And all evening I had no internet.
Oh, there
this
you
is
go.
where the real no internet came. I couldn't even watch TV. I came home.
Weren't you having
feeling like crap, and I can't even watch my television?
What was it? No, it was Sunday. I heard you couldn't watch your football game.
Was you were having Monday. It was Monday.
The Seahawks game.
Monday. Yeah. Seahawks didn't play Sunday. All I wanted to do, I got home and all I wanted to do was watch the game. Some days I don't care. Some days I can miss the game. It doesn't really matter.
Of course.
Whatever reason, I really wanted to watch the game on Monday.
It's always nice to do that.
And some nights it's just very relaxing to watch some guys pound each other. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And so,
that's why I watch porn.
No,
I'm just kidding.
So I was ready to watch the game, and I get home and I'm trying to turn it on, and it's like Vizio, the TV. We have a Vizio TV, I think. Yeah, it's Vizio.
I was gonna raise.
And Jesse, I
got a question.
Yes, Jesse in the front row. Jesse. I think the Vizio server or whatever was down.
So, for when you watch local, because I know you have cable right now because you're.
We don't have real cable. We have the internet cable through Spectrum.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
yeah, but we don't watch it through that because you don't get local channels through that.
Oh,
so
that's what I was going to ask.
Have an
if
antenna,
you have
but the problem is, everything's integrated into the computerized pieces, right? So even though it's an analog or whatever, I don't even know. It's probably digital now, but
it's digital.
Even though it's the signal that comes through, it converts in through your whatever your TV uses.
That sounded so gross. Sorry, guys.
And so I kept going to the TV, for the Air TV, whatever, the antenna.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
But it wouldn't. It would just cycle back to
annoying.
HDMI 1. One time I got it, and I tried to change the channel, and it kicked me out. And then it was one of those things where you can't stop yourself from continuing to try. Even though it's going to be the same result and you feel stupid every time you do it. It was driving me nuts. I didn't get to see the game at all. I don't even know if they won.
They lost.
They did not win. So it's probably worth me not watching, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like I couldn't watch TV, and then I had shingles, and I'm not even 60.
Bro.
And then, my toilet overflows. And I had to cut a big hole in the ceiling.
Alicia's sister, and sorry, Sandra, if you're listening to this, she had shingles. I guess this is before I met Alicia. And, me and Sandra are around the same age.
Yeah,
and this were I'll just say like 20 years ago. I don't know. She was young. From how it sounded,
it's nuts, man.
But from what I heard
actually said, it's only about half the population that's above 60 that gets it.
One thing that, like, going back to the commercials that I heard, it's like the thing that always freaked me out, and it sounded very invasive, is like, if you had chicken pox, the shingles virus is inside you.
It's living inside you.
It's already inside you.
Waiting to strike.
And I was like, that's the tingle I get in my butt.
It is pretty gross.
I'll stand up and it's just a sharp pain, and it's the shingles. I knew it.
That might be colorectal cancer. I don't know, but no,
I'd rather have the shingles.
It is gross to think about this virus just chilling out in your spinal column, just waiting for its chance.
I always wonder, like, what sets that off? Is it stress?
Well, that's what I've heard. They're like, you must be really stressed, and I should be stressed. There's a lot going on at work, but I've never felt better.
But no, I was going to say, you haven't seemed stressed, though. Like,
I haven't felt stressed. I felt pretty good about things.
Dude, for me, like, work, as much as I would stress about work, I don't feel like... I haven't been feeling stressed.
I felt way more stressed at points in my life. I feel like, I don't know. Right now, I feel like things are pretty good.
Okay. This was it. Hey, today's podcast is brought to you by Tom wanting to do a podcast tonight.
Yeah, I did. I texted Jesse.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was trying to get my ice machine to work in my fridge.
There you go.
I didn't have shit to go on.
I ruined your night.
Yeah. Oh yeah, ruined it.
That sounds like a blast and a half.
Nothing's been more annoying than not having ice, because I like to drink my water with a little bit of chill coolness to it. And so when we go to the gym, I usually fill my water jug up that I take with ice, and then put my little liquid water in. Whatever. This isn't brought to you by Liquid IV, but if you guys are hearing, please sponsor us. But I always put my Liquid IV in there.
Yeah.
But I have been just drinking water without ice, and it's so annoying.
Yeah.
That just means I have to drink more water.
The coldness of the ice does make water taste so much better.
Alicia, she'll drink it. She likes her water warm.
That's gross.
No, she doesn't like warm, but she actually would prefer not to have ice.
That's disgusting.
I have to have ice.
I need to talk to Alicia, because that's...
The craziest thing is
not right.
When you chew fucking mint gum and then you drink water with ice, the coldest shit on earth. I hate it. If you ever chew like spearmint or like peppermint, I don't know.
It's got that coolness to it.
And then you drink ice water. Oh my God. I feel like
that little commercial where you breathe out and it ices things over.
Yeah. Oh, the chill. But no, my week's been cool, actually. Good. Like, it's been pretty chill for work. I've been feeling pretty accomplished. I've been telling Alicia, I was like, man, I feel accomplished.
Nice.
Like, the other day I made her a table.
Yeah.
She's been wanting a table for her plants. And so I got wood over the weekend, I think it was. And then I think I started making it on Monday or Tuesday. And I finished it. This table's probably
20 feet long.
No.
No.
So it's 8 feet, I would say 6 inches,
right,
about 8.5 feet, maybe a little shorter than that, but I know for sure it's over 8 feet.
Yeah.
Just because the in-between piece of wood that I have is an 8-foot 2x4 that you don't see underneath.
Gotcha.
But I hooked it up. I felt fucking good because I'm like, damn, this thing looks nice. I went to go carry it to see if I can carry it in the house.
Heavy?
I was like, you know what? I'll wait till the wife gets home. I need her muscles too.
It's a little long. 8.5 feet.
It's the Mandingo of tables.
It's not so much the weight. It's the amount of movement.
No, bro, no.
It's heavy as shit.
It's heavy, bro. It's solid. Like it's a 2x12, two 2x12s. Then I got it's all, the legs and everything's 2x4s, and then there's just the front piece is a 2x2.
Yeah, probably.
And then I have that little trim piece in the front. So for me, I felt really good about it.
Yeah.
I felt really accomplished. And I think that day, like I don't know, there's those days where you just kind of, I don't know. It's always good to feel accomplished, right? Like you might not, conquer things in the world or do these crazy things, but like these little tiny goals that you might set. Like for me, it was like, okay, I need to get this done for work.
Yeah.
And instead of for me, I'm a very terrible procrastinator, and I'll wait till the last minute. I didn't do that. I was like, okay, I'll get this done early. Boom, finish that. Did my table because I was like, okay, I want to get this done. Boom, finish that. And then I think I cooked dinner, and I had the fucking kitchen clean, which I always, I usually keep that clean. Yeah.
Still, yeah.
And I don't know, I felt super accomplished, and I don't know, that's such a good feeling when you're able to like finish those little things.
Yeah, for sure.
Even though like it's nothing major, but it just puts this like feeling inside you where it's just fucking, I felt motivated. I've been feeling very motivated all week.
Nice.
And I haven't felt that way in a while. And then the gym, I've been hitting the gym, and so I've been feeling good about that.
Yeah, man. I know. Me too. Me too. I almost wanted to bail. I had to bail yesterday. They kicked my ass the day before.
Well, the shingles thing, I can see that being
The only thing I'm worried about is
like
like
the soreness.
if they make me lay down and start moving, because I'm starting to get like the sores and stuff, and that's not fun. But it's gonna be like 4 weeks of this crap. So no matter what, I'm gonna have to deal with it.
The cool thing is with the gym too is like it'll be like, okay, you can lay down, do this, or you can use the TRX.
Right, and I can just maybe tell them like, hey, I got a cut on my back.
Now tell them you got the shingles.
I got the shingles. Scare everybody.
No, scabies.
I got the back herpes.
I got syphilis.
Sorry, guys.
It's not contagious.
Doctor said it's only contagious if you suck on it.
It's only contagious if you sweat a little bit.
God, that's... Yeah.
No, like
I don't want to scare people,
But so it's been like more you've just been sore.
I've been sore,
not shingle sore, but just
That day it was like, there was the shingles side of it. I was like, because it was actually bothering me quite a bit that day.
No, that's understandable.
And today I actually didn't want to take the pain medicine because I'm just taking like Tylenol and stuff. But I was thinking like, it's going to be 4 weeks. I'm not going to take pain medicine every single day. I need to just get myself. Maybe I'll take it at night so I can sleep. But during the day, like if I'm actively doing something, I don't think about it. If you just sit there and don't do anything, then that's all you feel.
Well, that and then once you start actually moving around and you feel your like shirt rubbing against you, I can feel that being kind of annoying. I did
notice that I was at Target with Blanca earlier, and it was a little chilly in there.
Okay.
Which usually I love it when it's kind of chilly, but because it like lives in your nerves, I guess. And it's like
it was getting on your nerves.
It was really getting on my nerves. It was like your nerves are kind of hijacked in a way.
Yeah.
So you feel a lot of different things. So when your skin, like if you run a lot and like you rub your nipple weird or something.
Oh yeah, no, it gives you a nummy feeling.
Kind of like, and that stingy pain.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that. Like your shirt will touch it, and you get that weird kind of.
This is what I picture when I get So when we were in LA a couple years ago, I want to say it was like the last night we were there. Like the day before, I got a pretty nasty sunburn, right? To the point where like it was burning and itchy as fuck. Like it was annoying to the point where I couldn't sleep really well. Like I had to get in the shower to like kind of cool it down. Right. That's how I picture shingles in a sense.
That numb,
it's
burny
just like,
pain feeling.
It's more like, can you just stop for a second
exactly.
so I can
it's
fucking
not
sleep?
Horrible.
Yeah.
It's just really annoying. But I think mentally I'm just putting myself in a place where it's like, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Where it's... Like, I'm not going to overstate it.
You know what sucks is when you do say that, people always think, "Oh, you're a man. You're a big baby."
Which is so funny. I know.
Fucking hate
Blanca
that.
has not done that at all because honestly, I've given her no reason to. I don't talk about it very much.
And she was working out today, and she had mentioned like the toilet thing and she all that stuff, but she didn't say like Tom's being such a puss. She didn't say anything like that.
Well, she can't because after I got home from the doctor, I went and I cut the ceiling open with a fucking saw, and then made sure the ceiling wasn't all screwed up.
Like I had COVID, and I'm sitting here, I'm mowing the lawn, doing shit. So, yeah, because this is how stubborn I am, and I think most men are in this bucket. I know men get a lot of we get a bad rap because we tend to be bigger babies than women, and I'll agree to that.
I don't know if I've seen that in my real life, to be honest with you.
No,
I don't think I've seen any side be babies when they're sick, to be honest.
No,
I
I've never seen that.
People tough it out. I think our country is kind of a tough it out place.
No, I think where this comes from, the stigma usually comes from maybe movies. I don't know where it comes from.
I think it is. I think
in my life, if I was ever sick, I'm usually like, fuck that. Like, I'm too stubborn to let myself feel sickness.
If in the past, I don't get hangovers much anymore because I'm a lot more cautious about that kind of thing. But in my youth, I do not like hangovers.
No,
I'll be a fucking baby when it comes to hangovers.
No, see,
I'll baby myself. I'll sleep it off.
No, so I think the stigma, though, like, men tend to be babies about being sick or being like whatever. Like, but for me, this is you, I'm guessing too. It's like we're so stubborn in the sense that we're like, well, no, I'm sick, whatever. What the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to, and this is me thinking, I don't want to give my wife a reason to be like, oh, you're being a baby.
Yeah.
If I'm sick, I'm just like,
right.
I'm actually trying to do things more than I would if I was not sick.
Yeah.
And when I'm hungover, there's been times where I've been so hungover where I'm like I literally don't want to do shit, but I'm like, I can't do it. Like I can recall this one time they had this monster truck thing, or they had this trucks and something over at the Columbia Park for kids.
Place you'd ever want to be.
Right, for the kids, right? Do you remember that? They kids could get on the big tractors.
Oh yeah.
So the night before, I think we had drank or something, and I was hungover as fuck, and I was just like, and Alicia was just like, hey, my wife's more like, and she's like Blanca in the sense they're like, I don't give a fuck, you're going, or like,
right,
or there's gonna be problems, and I was like, no, I'm gonna go, I'm good. I'm like, I'm good, and I'm like, I'm not good. But I'm like. But I like tough it out. Like sometimes in life you just have to like push through. You gotta have to tough it out.
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes I think with men, actually with us anyways, like we can be stubborn to the point where we're like, we probably actually should take a step back and take maybe I do need a rest. Cause there's been times Lisi's like, you need a rest. And I go, no, cause then I feel worse. Yeah. For me, I feel worse if I sit there and
I've learned that like, in my older age with a hangover. It's better to just get your butt up and move.
So like COVID, this last time, like when you had it and I had it, I felt it more when I wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like at night when I'm trying to go to sleep, I kind of feel it then.
The nighttime was way worse.
Absolutely. Or whatever. If I was just like not doing nothing, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
But I never was in the moment where like, babe, I need you to give me water.
Well, right. Like the idea that we're just laying there crying because we don't feel good. I've never experienced that from any adult.
You know, honestly. This is what pisses me off about like not cartoons. I don't know why I was going to say cartoons.
You know when you're watching the Flintstones
and Fred doesn't have shoes on? Pisses me off. No, this is what kind of bugs me about the way they portray men sometimes. Yeah. Is like we're idiots and we don't know how to like do laundry, or we don't know how to do anything, or you'll see something where the kids are needing to be taken care of, and it's like, oh man, you guys can't do nothing.
The dad's just an idiot. He's got powder over his face,
fucking
blinking.
Pisses me off because
I
can't say for I'm not gonna say for 100% I'm like this great parent, because I'm not. I have my faults, but I'm also not an idiot, and I
know
how to fucking use a vacuum.
I see the world for what it is today. I don't think it is the world that existed even 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's generally speaking, and I know that there's outliers to this, but in my experience and the amount of people that I'm around, dads and moms are, if they're a family that engages their children, both are kind of doing that role.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still an awful lot of moms that pull the major weight.
There is.
But I don't know many households where it's still just the woman that does the laundry, the cooking, the cleaning.
No, I think things have changed
I think that's
lot.
great. I mean, I'm not saying it like it should be that old way. I'm not that way at all. Like, we split things. We do. There's not one thing that she does that I won't do. There's things I prefer not to do.
Well, of course.
But, but like, there's more things that only I do than vice versa.
I would agree with that.
And that's not to say that she was not willing to do those things. I just prefer to do them.
So for me, it's that I love to clean the kitchen. This is something I've done my whole life, and it's something that I still I enjoy it to the fact because it's very soothing for me. It's very like if I'm in a pissy mood or if like I'm just not in a right headspace.
Yeah.
Or if there's something just off with me, not necessarily like the wife and I are fighting or anything like that.
I gotcha.
It's just for me,
That's like centering.
I'll do that. I'll clean the kitchen, or it'll just put me in this state of mind where I don't know. It just puts me in a nice state of mind. Cleaning kind of has always done that, and I don't know if that's because my mom had us do chores all the time or had me do chores, but like when I do that stuff, it's like okay, it kind of calms my nerves, and so like, and Alicia knows like I'll clean the kitchen probably more than she does. She deep cleans like probably a lot better than I do.
I gotcha.
And she'll, she does all the furniture moving around. She likes to do that shit. She did that the other day. Like she'll just move it around. And I'm like, hey, babe, you want me to help? She's like, no, I got it. And she's fucking picking up the couch and fucking throwing it and moving it. And I'm like, God damn, girl, this fucking workout is doing shit. She's like, can you move? I'm going to do it myself. And she's like, moved it. And I was like, girl, I thought you said your back hurt. Look at you. Shit.
She's got them shingles.
She's like, no, don't hurt. And she's like lifting the couch with one arm. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Get out of my way, little boy.
You little bitch. And I'm like, oh, shit, girl.
Yeah, it's...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. Never mind.
Then she got the strap on and she was like, I'm like, whoa. No, but no.
It's man. It's about dads being stupid. I don't watch enough regular TV anymore to see the commercials.
It's still there.
Is it still like that?
It is still there, and it's still annoying.
Yeah, I don't appreciate it.
And it's actually, this is gonna sound very sexist. I don't know if it's gonna sound sexist or just my old age kicking in, but you'll see like the woman now is fucking hammering shit or doing the man
tasks,
which they can do that.
Sure, of course.
Hey, I built my table. So just so you guys know, the kitchen table I built, or not the kitchen table, the plant table I built, I actually, the way I did the legs and that frame for it, I got it from, there's these two girls that they have a YouTube video called Shabby Chic, right? And I loved how they framed this table. And I think I showed you.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to do that because I really thought that was actually a really good design.
Yeah.
So can women do things, guys?
Of course.
Of course they can. But I hate that they portray men like we don't know what we're doing. And then now we're extra pussies.
Yeah,
now,
and if I can
get out of here.
I think, we grew up in a very interesting time. And I'm sure that young women would disagree with me, and that's fine. I mean, we all have our own perspective of what we saw growing up. But I know in my experiences growing up in the 90s,
young buck.
Well, there was definitely a shift from my aunts. I had aunts who are very strong women. And definitely grew up in the time where women had to assert themselves and had to, there were definite expectations put on them. And I know that that's probably still true today. I'm not saying that that's not. I just think growing up as a boy in the 90s was a lot different than growing up as a boy in the 60s or the 50s or the 40s.
Oh, for sure.
And the things that were allowed to be said at the expense of
Did you have a job as a boy growing up in the 90s?
Did I have a job in the 90s?
Well, because the boys in the 40s and 60s did.
Right, because they were real men.
Well, that's what they say, right?
But that's the point that I'm kind of getting at is like I still remember, and it's such a stupid thing. Why it bothered me and why I still remember it, I don't know. But there's this girl that had a keychain that basically said boys were dumb.
Oh God!
And it hurt my feelings.
Of course,
I was just thinking as a young elementary school kid, I'm thinking like I could never say that about her or her entire gender. But this is sold as a product and completely acceptable messaging
but
in the world.
Even today, right? If you were to have something that said boys are dumb, that's still going to be acceptable
actually
today.
A good thing today.
Well, even so, like that's still acceptable,
right. But the reverse would
the
not
reverse way
be.
you won't be able to see girls are dumb.
And I agree with that. I agree that we shouldn't be saying that because it's not true. But for one to be okay
that's what I was gonna
and
say.
the other not to be,
is that okay?
Is disrespect okay?
No.
I mean, I've read articles where it talked about men being obsolete because they're going to have genetics where a woman and a woman can have a baby. And I'm thinking,
how?
I
Where are they going to
mean,
get the sperm?
The messaging is almost that we don't have a right to exist and that we shouldn't exist. And look, I get it that there's also messaging the other way, but I go through stores and it's great that there are plus size models. I think that's wonderful.
I love it.
All the different representation is a wonderful thing. I think opening the world to everybody, but I don't see a lot of plus size men on posters.
I personally I enjoy the plus size women.
Sure.
More like thicker women, I guess. I'm more into that.
And it's just generally good to see more representation.
I shouldn't say that, although my wife don't lose it, but still, she knows. How.
But you know what I'm saying? Like I get I always hear the things like, well, we're expected to be pretty and smart and blah. And I'm like, I don't think people realize that pressure is put on everybody.
Well, I don't think people realize the pressure in this is. I don't think some women anyway, or people in general, realize the pressure men have sometimes.
Right.
Like, and it's not, I don't know if it's necessarily pressure we put on ourselves or pressure that society brings, but there's pressure we have.
Yeah, for sure.
Where we feel like we need to take care of the family. We need to take care of, bills and things around the house and, oh, this needs to be done or that needs to be done or blah, blah, blah. There's a constant worry, at least for me as a man, that that weighs on me, and a lot of times it doesn't get, I don't think that gets brought to light because, I don't know why. I think it's harder sometimes for men to be men nowadays than it was, 20 years ago, right? 10 years ago.
Right.
Because there's so much, it's like, well, you're misogynistic or you get labeled a certain way because you're trying to, and it's not necessarily, I think women are, I do agree that women growing up as a kid in the 80s, 90s, being in a single parent household with a woman, I've said this for a long time. My mom was my dad, right? She was always, as much as I might have said stuff, but my mom's always been like kind of my dad as well, like because she had to show me how to do things so I don't know. It's just men get labeled a certain way and I don't necessarily agree with the way we get labeled because I don't know if it's not fair or not, but like I don't want to compare women to men because there's no comparison really. It's different. Right. You can't compare. Back in the day there was a wage gap. Back in the day there was this. Back in the day, women couldn't vote. Back in the day, women couldn't do this. But like that's not now, right?
I think the wage gap thing, there's probably an argument there. But Blanca does not have a wage gap because, and I'm not saying that this is fair or right, but Blanca's not afraid to negotiate. She's not afraid to bring that up.
I don't think that's an issue now, though.
They say it is.
I don't think there is.
I don't know.
But I think there's certain occupations, are fields where women, it's not a woman, IT, I'm in IT, that is not a predominantly feminine, place, right? For women. Mostly it's a lot of guys. At where I work, we do have a lot of women, especially on like the application side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I think women are very more analytical with the way they think. I think they are very they think a little smarter than men. We're more like, we're gonna jump the gun, or we're gonna think differently. I do think there's that. I've seen it with, at least for me.
Sure.
I can see the aspect where I can see a woman's way more analytical than I am. They can do that job better than I could, especially with certain things. Physically, sometimes I'm probably gonna get murdered for this. Physically, I think men are just a little more, I don't know. You're gonna see a lot more plumbers. You're going to see a lot more framers and things where it's more of a male thing, because men are just typically, we're just a lot stronger. And that's just genetically how it is.
But most men are going to be more physically adept to that kind of work, or be desiring that kind of.
Well, yeah, I think genetically we're just built different.
Sure.
And I think that gets missed. Mm-hmm. I don't think people realize genetics is a real thing.
Sure.
There's a science behind genetics, you know, and it's, I don't know.
Well, it doesn't mean somebody.
I'm not trying to be misogynistic.
Well, and
if
the
I
funniest
am,
thing
I
to
apologize.
me, I think it's like this younger generation, there's a whole nother layer to it. So Blanc and I are watching a show on Netflix that we're starting to get to the point where I don't know how much longer I can handle this.
What is the show?
It's Love is Blind.
Oh,
You've seen
that's
Love is
one.
Blind.
Yeah.
It's this idea that you meet people in these pods.
Yeah,
And you don't
I
ever
remember
see
you told me
them.
about
You
this.
talk about them. It's an okay show. I really hate reality TV with a passion. I can stomach this one. I don't like that they try to force people into situations where you know that chaos is going to happen. That really irritates me, and I feel like it's starting to happen more and more, to the point I just don't like trash TV. I don't
They do
like
it for views.
They do it to make it more
yeah.
interesting. I actually am just the way I am. I think I am a little more of an analytical person. Like, maybe that's a girl thing, but for me, I'm more drawn to the idea of, okay, we have a question. Is love really blind? Let's put that premise to the test, but let's not actively try to sabotage it for the sake of television.
I think in general, the reason I say women are more analytical is just they tend to, they have this motherly instinct that men just we don't have.
Gotcha.
And I can't say that that's how all men are.
No, sure.
For me, I'm not a very analytical person.
And there are some women that can haul lumber way better than I can.
So I just want to say, for me, when I'm basing this is off of who I am. Yeah. I'm not an analytical person.
I gotcha.
I don't think that way. So when I say that, I'm not saying it in a way like,
I gotcha.
Oh, guys can't do this. That's what I know what I mean.
I'm mad at you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to talk to you for 3 hours.
Yeah. But like, I'm more of a, I need my hands on things. I need to do things. And there's women that are that way as well. But I think more, women are motherly. They have this like instinct about them that guys just,
a lot of
typically we do not have.
Yeah. And there is a fair question. Is that because we've learned that behavior?
I think that's
is it? But so one of the things I brought up this show, it was so funny to me because this younger generation, they talk very openly about toxic masculinity and all this stuff, which I totally agree that there is and I feel the toxicity of that masculinity because I hate when I walk in a room and I know this guy, he's going to get looked at by more women than I am because he looks the part.
Of course.
Which, again, goes back to we all have pressure put on us. But
if you're tall or whatever, you're going to get looked at more than the guy that's short.
Maybe, but also...
If we go into a room together, they're going to look at this guy more than me.
I don't know if that's true. But if you look at a guy that looks like G.I. Joe, and then you look at average Joe... Who's going to get...
Exactly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Like, it's not like we just walk around with the world handed to us because we have a, something.
And see, I think this is where... And for me, I think this is where... Like... This... Oh, God. I'm probably going to get murdered for this.
So Jesse's saying this one.
So women, when they look at each other, they'll look like, oh, this bitch is skinny. Well, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
Or as a man, they're like, this girl got, she's got some substance.
She's got
substance.
She's sus, man.
She got substance.
She's
to
got
her.
substance, okay.
Like, I think when it comes to that, like, women view each other a little differently.
I think women are harder on each other than men are hard on women in a lot of cases.
I think so.
I know in the old adage of like Hillary Clinton, there were a lot of men that hated Hillary, but in my personal life, the people that hated Hillary Clinton, like with a passion, there were a lot of women. I'm not saying I love Hillary Clinton.
I didn't like Hillary, and I don't even know that bitch.
There were so many women that would not accept a female leader.
Yeah.
It's surprising. It's just surprising to me.
I don't know.
In my experience growing up in a very conservative area, the people that were most outspoken about it were
more
conservative women. No, it was women. I never heard men talk about it. I'm not saying men never did, but in my childhood, when she was first active, I can only remember a handful of women actively talking about her.
So one thing I will say, I remember it was like Bucket, his wife. Mm-hmm. She was very like
traditional.
She's traditional, but like but she made really good valid points about, I can't remember the topic, but she's like, why do they think they can do this or do that? Like, it's not that they couldn't do that, but
why would you want to?
Why do you assume that it should be that way, right? There's an assumption there that like,
kind of like the anti-pressure, like if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, why, like you almost get looked down on because you're choosing to
like
be
Alicia,
a feminine role.
So actually, Alicia would love to just stay at home and work,
like
or not even work at the house, right?
Right.
Me, on the other hand, I look at it like I'm not against her working at home, being a stay-at-home mom, because for the first few, like 7 years that we were together, she stayed at home, took care of the kids, and did all that stuff. And I'm cool with that. But then the way once you, like, for me, the way I think, I'm like, I look at the economy and the way things are, it's like, I need you.
Our world is not built.
It's, I can't, like, maybe I could do a lot of stuff and I can maintain what we have.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, the stuff we get to do, we won't get to do because I can only do this much.
I do think people need to look
having
at
that double income is kind of like,
and that's necessary. People need to understand.
I don't know if that had to do with
in the
anything.
40s and 50s and 60s, look at the house people lived in. Look at it was not common to have carpet inside a house. Like it wasn't. Yeah. I mean, like there were a lot of things that were luxury items that people just did not have. You didn't just go and do all these like big fancy trips all the time. Like we live a very luxurious lifestyle in America today.
Bro,
there's a lot of expectation for normal life that has never been considered normal before. And like if you look at actual quality of life, our quality of life right now is so insane.
So if you and your wife are making what you are right now, right? But 30, 40 years ago, where are you? Are you in the lower class, middle class? Or are you kind of like...
I would be upper class, right?
I would be upper class, yeah, exactly.
That's the crazy thing. I mean, together, Blanca and I bring in quite a bit of money, but it's just the way the world works today.
Dude, we bring in so much money.
More money than anybody else.
The most money in the world.
You should see the amount of money we bring in.
Elon Musk has nothing on me.
It's totally crazy. It really is.
Jeff Bezos doesn't bring in what I bring in.
Yeah.
No, he actually brings in way more.
Yeah, true.
But like the IRS reached out to Alicia like, you need to change your W4 forms. Alicia's tripping out. Like, oh my God.
Just recently or?
Oh yeah, like within like Tuesday or Wednesday.
For what?
I don't know. She thought we were gonna get like audited. I don't know what she thought. Like, but there's this, in the way you do your W forms now, you actually have to, if you file married, and then you file jointly, you actually have to take into account your spouse's income.
Oh, okay.
As part of your W form. So if I got a job at another place, right? When I fill out my W4, I actually have to go, okay, you make X amount of money. and my wife doesn't make this. You make $100,000 a year, right? Now I have to add that with what I make a year.
I gotcha.
Right.
For your taxable income.
And this is how much you need to take out of my check. Right. Can you divide that between you both? You could.
Can't you file married but separately? Because Blanca and I had done that in the past. I think
I think you could.
It's how you file. I don't know.
I think there's more of a benefit when you file together.
Maybe there is. I don't remember what it was.
But the fact that like now, like 2024,
yeah,
if you fill out your W-4, you need to add your wife's income to your income to determine how much is getting taken out of your check.
Right.
Which is fucking stupid to me, because it's like, how about this is what I make, you take this out of my check. This is what he makes, you take it out of his check.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
But that's
so
how
they
it is.
take it out of both people's checks?
Yes.
That can't be.
You can do it in a way where it's like, okay, Tom makes $150,000 a year. Blanca makes
yes, I do.
$50,000 a year.
That's
right?
absolutely correct.
Right. I'm making these numbers up off
That's
the fucking
100% the money that we make. I make 3 times the amount of money she does, and I'm sticking to it.
Right.
She never made more money than me.
That's crazy.
She says that she makes more than me. You believe that? It's totally insane.
Tax fraud.
She doesn't ever make more than me. It's never been done. It's never been done. I promise you.
She doesn't make more than me.
She's got a vagina. It's not. It doesn't make any sense. No, I'm just kidding. My wife actually does make more money than me.
But the way it is, it's like different. Because I actually went to go mess with my W-4 because my W-4 is still from 2017. Or 2000, somewhere around there.
Sure.
So, like, it's not right. Obviously, I got to fix mine.
See, and I've always asked them to take the most out because I just want to get money back.
So this is what you can do. You can go, ask Tom, I'm going to 0, right? Mm-hmm. I'm claiming
That's
0.
That's what I do. I claim 0.
Well, now you got to add your wife.
Well, right? I claim 0, and now I pay more because make too much.
And like I said, I'm making this number up. Tom makes $150,000. He claims 0. Great. We're going to take that out. But his wife makes, we'll say, $100,000. This is how much more he needs to take out of his check.
Is it because of the tax bracket? Is that what it is? Because it pops you in the tax bracket.
You need to take out an additional $350 out of your check in order for you to give me money as Uncle Sam. You know, like, that pisses me off.
I gotcha.
It's so stupid.
I think that, the problem, it's not that they're necessarily taking the amount of the other person's income out of yours the whole time. It's saying that because now you make $250,000, whatever that tax bracket is, now your individual tax bracket's charging more out of your. I get you. Okay, that makes sense.
Which kind of sucks, though.
I honestly, this is what I personally believe. I'm more of a Democrat. I'll just be open about that. I believe that what we should do with taxes is make
abolish.
No, I believe in taxes, but I believe in responsible taxes. I would love to see a broad middle class that pays a modest. We get things for paying taxes. We get a society that works. We get certain, in my view, rights covered that I don't trust a mega corporation to do any better than a government because I can re-elect my officials that represent me. I can demand it of a government. I can't demand it from a private company. We've been fucked over by private companies.
Forever.
They're the ones that frankly run the government, right? So I'm not anti-government because I fundamentally believe government can work because it is the only institution that allows us to have any kind of democratic voice. So
you believe states should have states should have power over certain things?
I think
instead of saying like, hey, the U.S. government says you need to do this, should it be like individual states?
Constitutionally, no. I think the federal, I'm a federalist in some level. I think that there are guaranteed constitutional rights because if you look around, if you look at very liberal states, they're going to read things very differently. very conservative states are going to read things very differently. There are certain foundational rights that have to be equally accessible to everyone. Otherwise, you end up with legalized Jim Crow laws.
The only thing that sucks is like these bigger cities like Seattle determine how us in the Tri-Cities should feel.
Sure, but the reality is that's not going to change if the state runs it or the
true.
right. But then there's the debate over should the Eastern Washington split and go with Idaho or not.
That's stupid. They ain't even our fucking state. I don't want potatoes.
I feel the same way.
I don't want fucking potatoes.
Well, because also, I mean, Washington has a lot more money than Idaho does. So even if they were to separate and it maybe politically looked more
that's why we aren't in a toilet paper shortage like you other fucks out there.
Out there in Idaho country. I know you're wiping your butt with a potato.
You know, getting out of this whole political thing because for me, Tom's into that. I hate politics.
I am one asshole with an opinion.
So Alicia the other day goes, "Hey, do you know people are like going crazy over toilet paper again?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "They're fucking. There's like they're talking about paper. You know, like the shortage. People are like stockpiling. You know, when COVID happened, people were going ape shit.
That was real though. I walked into the store and couldn't find toilet paper.
No. That's because people were tripping out, right?
Yeah.
And so people are having PTSD because a couple of days ago, anyway, the ports were striking.
Oh God,
so people are like, oh my God. Because toilet paper said fucking export.
Okay,
Get
first
the
of all,
fuck
this
out of
is
here.
one of the reasons I believe in a strong federal government. Guess what? Federal government's not going to let them strike that long.
Guess what? The fucking motherfucking port people make 120, 130,000 a year,
which is not a lot now. But yeah, it's good money.
It's more than I make.
It's good money. I agree. It's good money.
But
in New York or LA,
well, no, now they're even making.
They're gonna make even more.
No,
right.
so
I agree.
So the ports recently, they were making. I'm throwing a fucking number out here just to give you guys an idea.
$300 million.
No. They were making $45, we'll say an hour, right?
Sure. Probably closer to $100 or more.
No. It was, I want to say, I was talking to my tech today and he was telling me about it. So we'll say about $45 an hour, right? Is what they were making on as a port. Well, now they're making like 60,
we're
65.
Talking the people working there? The port employees? Right.
Oh, the employees. They're making six figures easy.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right.
Well,
but isn't that more than $45 an hour?
Well, it was at one point. Now it's like $60, $65 an hour.
Yeah.
So they're making a shitload of money. But like Alicia was telling me like, like people are going crazy. And I'm like, well, really?
That's pretty dumb.
And so then I kind of like, Google's a thing, man.
Yeah.
Hey, people, I want you guys to realize this. When you hear shit on Instagram, TikTok, fucking YouTube, anything, guess what? There's this beautiful thing called the internet. Yeah. And you can just simply Google it. Hey, why are we having a paper shortage? Why?
Or are we having a paper shortage?
Why is the sky blue? Whatever the fucking question you have because you're hearing this, you can Google. But and also, guess what? You'll find a lot of shit.
But also be smart enough to know what source you're reading.
Well, no, that's true.
But yeah, if you're getting your news from Instagram, look, every morning I listen to Morning Report, Economic Report. That's probably boring to a lot of people. But yeah, I heard all about the strike. Guess what? The strike on the East Coast has nothing to do with the strike on the West Coast. Well, there is no strike on the West Coast. So at the end of the day, different unions. So everything was coming through the Pacific Coast anyway.
Well, no. So at the end of the day, people were, from what I read from multiple sources.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Can I say that?
Multiple sources.
Multiple sources. Why? You
have to hold your ear when you say it, though.
Multiple sources have just reported this.
There you go. This just did the newsroom. Multiple sources confirming.
But anyway, so they're basically saying, guys, you need to calm down. You're having You're basically people are what is going on is people are having PTSD,
which makes sense. It's been 4 years.
So that's what happened.
Yeah.
And so then just recently, as of I think today, maybe last night, suspended the porthole strike things got suspended.
Yep. At least till January. So we're good there.
Everyone's good.
The economy's doing actually really well.
Guess what? Like I said, export. We don't export toilet paper to
Brazil
or anything. So you guys are fucking fine.
I say drill more toilet paper. That's what I say.
I say cut more trees.
We're gonna
burn more forests.
We're gonna make more toilet paper than this country's ever seen. Let me tell you, you're gonna have toilet paper coming out of your ears. It's true.
But like I was hearing those stuff, and so I ended up looking up when Alicia told me that because I was like. Because she had no idea. She just heard people are going crazy.
Sure, but she's probably right.
Because she's at work and she's hearing this from customers coming in. She's like, what the fuck's
running with toilet paper in his coat? I need my money. I gotta buy more toilet paper.
No. People are busting out in their trench coats. They come open up like, man, I got these 12 rolls right here, brother. Hey, what you want? What you want? They're
going to the bank trying to sell.
And she's like, what are you trying to do? You selling tamales or what are you doing? Like, was it 12 rolls for, $12 or what's going on here?
That's probably a good deal today.
No, that's a decent deal. Bro, years ago.
Toilet paper is so expensive.
Not to get off of this toilet paper conversation, which is fucking phenomenal.
Wonderful.
So phenomenal. Years ago, you could buy a dozen of tamales for like $10 to $12.
That's
so
nuts.
$1 tamale.
Nowadays, $1 per tamale.
For sure.
Wow.
Nowadays, you want a dozen tamales, you're paying for like almost $20.
Wow, it's like double that. It's double what it used to be.
But that's because the meat prices, bruh.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, true.
So I look up this stuff and I'm like, okay. And so multiple news sources, not just CNN, not just Fox News.
Not
News.
just fuck news. It's
Anyway, Fox News.
all
CNN,
the news is
all these different
Sure.
Republicans, Democrats,
Right.
fucking
Independent, hopefully.
Monica Rex. I don't know.
Monica Lewinsky News says,
Suck more dick. But like all these news sources are saying, people need to chill.
what they do.
Everyone
it's
said
buying.
that. They're having basically what like when I said PTSD, I didn't just say that to say that.
real.
That's what they were saying.
People are panicked because they did experience one time.
They're having these COVID buys,
which we all know it was traumatizing. You walk in the store and you've got one roll left in the house, and you look and there's no toilet paper anywhere. That was scary.
Get this. Scary. So when I was younger, growing up in Vegas, Henderson, actually, Nevada.
Do we want to hear the story?
Oh, we're gonna hear this story. Me and my family weren't the richest. We lived in the projects. We were like Section 8. My mom can attest to this.
Okay.
And if she doesn't, I love you, Mom, but I think you're lying. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But
she will listen. So
100%. There was a time where we didn't have toilet paper. And maybe it's just this day I remember, but I remember this a few times, maybe more. But I had to use a fucking tube sock to wipe my ass.
What did you do with it after you were done?
Bruh, a tube sock or a dish rag. So what we would do is we would put this in the sink.
I'm sorry,
we would wash this out. We would wring it out, wash it
with
soap, I guess, or we would just use hot water because hot water disinfects everything. And we would reuse this in the house, right?
And it was the same towel for everybody?
Oh yeah. So if my bro wiped his ass with his towel and he wringed it out, I would wipe my ass with the same towel.
And your mom would follow.
Everybody in the house would use this thing. There's a time I remember using socks.
Now, would you wash the sock and then rewear the sock?
Bro, I don't remember. I don't know whose socks it was. It was my older brother's.
I'm probably being very insensitive. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. This is very shocking news to me. Okay.
So it was probably my older brother. I don't know whose fucking sock it was. It was a white sock with three red stripes on it.
Wow. A 1970s sock.
Oh, 100%.
That's incredible.
It was a fucking vintage. So we'd wipe our butts with those. But for me, I never looked at it as weird.
Sure.
right?
Sure.
But
Yeah, right.
I don't
mean,
know why I was
it's-
going to the story, but like that's how it was.
Shocking.
So people
So basically,
nowadays,
it's PTSD over no toilet paper. You're like, bro, get in line.
bro, get in line.
Yeah.
Dude, I got this fucking rag. You know,
It's
like,
called a sock, bro.
some of the stuff.
Rinse it out in lukewarm
some
water.
of the stuff I
and
seen
call it
growing up,
done.
people maybe have seen when they grew up. Tom hasn't.
I
because,
did not see that
because
I will admit.
he had two parents and he grew up in a fucking pretty decent.
I was in a middle class neighborhood.
We grew up a little lower class. There was a couple things that we dealt with that maybe Tom didn't deal with. But something I've said, and Tom can agree with this, just because his traumas are different than my traumas doesn't make them any different, right?
I don't know, bro. Washing a sock in the sink with warm water sounds kind of traumatizing to me.
No, so like this is what I
I might be stepping back from my earlier comments.
No, so this is what I mean, and I'll stay to this forever. Like my trauma for me might be a little tougher than when Tom hears my traumas. He thinks, "Wow,
Yeah, sure.
maybe my shit wasn't as tough." But for Tom, yeah, maybe his traumas were as tough as mine because mentally and all that. That's the same shit. Like I don't give a fuck.
And I agree with you.
Do you know what I'm saying?
As a kid going through
You
what you
don't know
go through,
any
you
difference.
only know what you know.
You only know what you know.
So I mean, trauma to one kid might be, I don't know. Dad was gonna come home and he couldn't get home one night.
Bro,
because
my milk, my
like,
shirt I
I don't
had
know.
last week said,
I'm just trying to make something up.
I'm just the dad that brought home the milk.
Yeah.
Some dads didn't bring home the milk, right?
So yeah, I mean, like you're right. Your perspective is based on your experiences. So one kid's trauma. I mean, there are kids that are traumatized over nothing, and kids that are traumatized.
And that's why I don't like when people compare traumas because you can't. Because just because I grew up maybe a little less fortunate than the next person doesn't mean my trauma is any less than the next person, right?
Right.
Because my traumas can be equal to them because for them that was very traumatic. Yeah, maybe this person grew up hella rich and their kid didn't grow up as hella rich, but they still, for me, grew up rich. That doesn't mean that trauma is any different. To us, that trauma is the same.
Sure.
For us, that trauma is, you know what? It was tough. It was really tough for me to grow up and I didn't get these things. Or for me, like, it was tough. I didn't get these things. That doesn't, on the outside, people see that. And on the outside, they look in and they see, well, Jesse's traumas are worse than Tom's traumas. But for me, and I think for most people, it's like, our traumas are the same because our circumstances are different, right?
like the framework that we have to look at.
It is.
through.
It's different.
Right.
I hate when people see that and be like, well, I grew up this way. Well, yeah, okay, cool, whatever. But I didn't.
Right.
But for me, it was still mentally, physically, whatever you want to call it, it felt the way you felt.
Sure. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Normal for you is
Yeah,
normal for you.
I get that. Yeah, okay, I had a Nintendo. Okay, you didn't have a Nintendo. You had a fucking, you had your dick. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
You're playing with your sister's old broken Barbie, and I had a badass Nintendo. All right, I get it. I had a Super Nintendo, okay?
You had Barbie. I had G.I. Joe. You had Barbie.
Yeah.
I had my.
Look, you wiped your ass with a tube sock. I had Super Nintendo. I get it. We all have things that we suffer from.
Oh, you wiped
Do you
your ass
know I had to wait 2 years to get a PlayStation? Do you know the pain?
you know?
No,
I had to
it's,
wipe my ass with tube sock and use that same tube sock to jerk off
I do
in.
think the thing... Okay. So I do think...
But you know what I mean?
A point
in
that
a sense.
a lot of people will get to, though.
That's what I mean.
Is a point in our country where there are certain groups that just tend to have a lot more of those traumas than others.
Yeah.
Right? So we do have some circumstances, and it's so interesting because I think there's a lot of, for example, like African American actors who I was listening to. Who is it that just passed away?
Which one?
The Darth Vader.
Oh, James Earl Jones.
Yes,
bro.
James Earl Jones.
Rest in peace, my brother.
And it was really interesting because he was speaking to. It was an old interviewer.
Icon.
Yeah, an absolute icon. And he was speaking to somebody who was interviewing him, and the question was about being like a black actor and how it impacted his career. And he said, I don't want to play into that. I don't want to play into being put into this box and limit myself. And so it's really interesting because we do live in a world where you have to admit that there are disadvantages to being a minority. There are disadvantages to being in certain groups. Statistically
I agree.
speaking, like we're saying, you have a higher likelihood of experiencing some of these difficulties and traumas because of systemic issues in our country. So how do you deal with that?
You grew up in a more suburban neighborhood.
Oh, I grew up in a very white, conservative, Christian.
I grew up where it was mostly Hispanic and in black, right?
Sure, right.
That's the neighborhood I grew up in. It was very
diverse, or
it was just us, right? But I never look, and like I said, a lot of this stuff is just based on how I viewed things.
Yeah,
I
sure.
never
But
looked
your
at
experience in life.
I never looked at things like in a racial aspect, where I think a lot of America looks at things racially.
Why do you think that is? What do you think makes it?
I think for me personally,
because you're a Hispanic man, right?
I'm a mixed fella.
Mixed fella.
I've always considered myself Hispanic because of all the racial profiling I've gotten in my life.
So you would think that other people would look at you and say Hispanic, like you felt
1000%.
what it means to be a Latino male.
99 out of 100 times, people are going to think I'm Hispanic, which I am. And I take pride in that, right? I take pride in my heritage. I take pride in who I am as a person. But I think a lot of times people just look at things racially. I don't know how to say it, but like just because I don't know where I was fucking going with this conversation. But
sorry, I cut you off a little bit.
You did. I just kidding.
Hey, calm down there. I'm a white man.
Just because it's white, motherfucker. No, but like, I grew up in a very, Section 8, Project D type of neighborhood. I grew up in that environment. So for me, that's always been a very comfortable situation for me. Yeah, I've never looked at it any different. Other people who may have grown up, let's say this, for example, Tom grew up in a really rich environment, right? And then he had to go down to a middle class environment. That's going to be kind of traumatic for him in a sense that his lifestyle is going to change, right? For me, I grew up in a more poorer environment, right? So when I grow up in a different environment, it's a weird situation for me. Like, how do I handle this? I have no idea.
The social expectation side of things.
I only know this.
Yeah.
I only know how to handle situations where, it's a little tougher. Where whatever.
There's an expected way to handle problems or to handle situations, and then that changes the script.
And I don't like that people. Well, I grew up in the ghetto and this and that. Okay, yeah, you grew up in the ghetto. Like, for me, people will see how I am now, and they'll assume that I grew up in this fucking fantastic environment. And the situation and the reality of this situation is I didn't grow up in a fucking middle class, upper class environment. I didn't grow up in that. But I knew I didn't want to have my family in that. And that's not taken away from how my mom treated me. And that's not taken away from how my mom tried to raise us. Because I really believe my mom instilled things in us that she wanted us to be better.
Yeah, right.
And did I see that maybe, you know, X amount of years ago or what? Probably not. I probably didn't. Do I see that now? I do, because I'm a parent and I see that, you know what? My mom wanted probably a little better for us than she had.
Yeah.
And that as a parent, that's all we want. I want my kids to be in a better situation than I'm in now. Do my kids see? My kids will never, and your kids, they're going to never see that aspect where we were just struggling and we couldn't figure things out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Like, they're not going to say,
the uncertainty.
"Oh man, I couldn't go to this fucking field trip because my mom couldn't afford $5." I grew up in a situation where I literally could not go to this fucking field trip because I knew within myself that my mom, that $5, my mom couldn't afford because she needed that $5 for fucking power. She needed that water or whatever she needed.
And maybe
it
it wasn't going to buy something whole, but it was going to go towards something necessary.
And instinctually, I took that upon myself. I never asked my mom. Mm-hmm. So I can't put that blame on her, right? And for many years, I put that blame on my mother or the way I grew up. Like, I couldn't do these things because we were poor. I can't put that on her because when I think about it, it was more me like thinking about her, thinking about our situation, thinking about these things where it's like, you know what? I don't think my mom can, I don't think we can afford this shit. So I'm not going to even say shit. So these field trips come up. I'm going to step back. I'm going to sit in the room. I'm going to sit in the classroom while everyone else is going to fucking these water parks, having fun and shit. Even though it was like $5-10 mm-hmm. to you and I now, if my kids came up with $5, like, bro, I got this shit in my piggy bank right now.
You got ones ready to go. You're slapping
exactly
money
right.
At them. Yes,
you know what I mean?
But,
like in my truck right now, like I got like my money that is emergency money if I need gas or whatever. Like I have that because I know that growing up I didn't. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. Things are different. I don't know where I was going with this conversation. Oh, but at the end of the day,
okay. That's all right. Well, it's a very interesting conversation. We don't often get into this kind of stuff, but I think we've had these conversations earlier on where when we really in this country had such crazy racial turmoil and things have gotten to the point, and it's still there, but there's at least maybe a tiny bit of breathing room where the intensity is not as high. And I just would like to know how we support people in a healthy way, in the right way, to solve our problems and make the system work for everybody in a way. So
personally, I think to help maybe the less fortunate, mm-hmm. and this is going to sound probably fucked up, but I think we kind of tend to help as Americans, and you've seen this lately, is people who are from other countries, not to take away the fact that they're coming here to escape what they're dealing with, like I think that's amazing. But I think a lot of times we will help that situation more than we'll help what's going on in right now. Okay. Right, our homeless population or whatever is going on now within our own country will help someone coming in a little more. FEMA for instance, right? Hurricane just hit, right?
Right.
FEMA doesn't have money, so they're telling people like, hey, we can only give you X amount. This is what we got because we've been helping, this going on, right? Mm. So we really can't help you guys. Sorry. And I'm not just saying that to say that. I'm saying that because I've seen that in multiple sources, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of social issues. I mean,
There is so
because
much.
with the homeless population, you have a lot of drug abuse. Who's responsible
so
for the drug
much.
abuse? You know, I would love to see the Sackler family.
Who?
The Sackler family.
Who's the
Pfizer? The owners of Pfizer.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I mean,
Yeah, I love my
They're,
don't get me wrong. I love having a good
I'm
boner.
gonna say this is a hypothetical family. It's not a real family.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's the hypothetical Sackler family that doesn't exist in real life, that hasn't owned a pharmaceutical company, let's say Shizer, and isn't responsible for the opium crisis in this country. But I would love to see any family that's made billions of dollars off of addiction, which has absolutely created a crisis of homelessness in this country. A lot of people deal with homelessness as being a lack of housing. That is a clear piece of it. We need more housing. But
Do you think homelessness has to do with a lot of the way the economy is now?
no, the economy is actually doing quite well. If you actually look at the true economy.
I'm like
As far as how expensive housing is?
Yeah,
we need more housing. We absolutely need more housing.
you
That's
can't
a
tell
piece
me
of it.
you can afford where you live if you
All
work
I'm
as a
saying
manager
is go
at
down.
McDonald's.
We live in Kennewick, right?
No, like
We
if
live
you
in the
were
city
like a
of
manager,
Kennewick.
at,
Oh,
like,
absolutely. No, you could not live.
No, you couldn't.
Minimum wage is a joke.
It is.
What they consider to be low income is a joke.
yeah.
It just is. There's no way to live a reasonable life by the standards that we have on the income that is expected. I mean, they say a family of 4 can make 20 grand and be considered what is the term? I'm trying to remember what they say.
Binary.
But you're not, let's not touch that one. No. But the poverty line, what they consider the poverty line. There's no way a family of 4 can live on what they consider to be a poverty line. I guess for me, that's why I do believe in taxes to a point, and I believe in a governmental system.
agree with taxes, yeah.
I think there's a certain level in our country that we should accept for our population,
100%,
for our people.
100%.
The issue I have is, what do we incentivize and how do we incentivize it? I still feel like I'm a Democrat. Honestly, I still feel more liberal, but I also don't want to see my tax dollars wasted. I don't want to see money wasted. I want real thought out policy put in place where people are actually getting helped by the taxes that are collected.
You don't want to see,
saying?
because you don't want to see your taxes.
I want to see.
You don't want to see the government taking out $450.
But I would love to see billionaires. When you think of Elon Musk having like $238 billion.
Why?
My question is, why as Americans, when the most of us are concerned about the lack of money we have, don't we bond together and say, hey, you know what? If you make hundreds of billions of dollars, maybe you're going to pay more in taxes.
If your name's Jeff Bezos and you have to tell a country to
take down a bridge and then
let's
rebuild
get this
it?
bridge, you fucking piece of shit.
This is an honest question to America. And I don't think it matters if you're Democrat or Republican or independent or whoever.
Yeah.
If you think of, like I talked earlier, I'm a Democrat because I don't trust corporations.
Okay.
Okay, that's my bottom line. I believe that at its best, a federal government provides a check and a balance on corporations. Do I know that that's a little screwed up? Do I know that that can be hijacked? Do I believe today that that's the case? Yes, because of misinformation and because of a lack of a populace that seems to care.
It's really hard to know what to believe.
It's very difficult, but a little bit of work goes a long way, I would say. However, that said, I still love the fact that we can elect our leaders. That we could honestly demand of our leaders anything. If we as Americans got together and every single person said, no, we want a tax code where if you make hundreds of billions of dollars, you're going to pay 50% in taxes. But you know what we're going to get to pay? 10%.
Sounds so easy.
No, I'm saying if every single American, if it was proposed and every single American voted for people that put that forward and demanded it.
Of course.
If we look at the things that happen when America demands it. Politicians get scared when people get mad.
Well, I think a lot of times politicians,
they play the odds.
Well, they do because
it's all imaging.
So this is something me and Alicia have kind of. We're me and Alicia are both very we're not political.
Sure.
I want someone who's going to be in office, not because they're a woman or because they're black or because they're white or because they're this or that. I don't want someone like that. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck if you're a fucking frog. Like, I want someone who's a fucking gonna do something for me.
Frog
for
or
my
frog?
people.
You said frog, right?
Frog, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't give a
Kermit.
fuck. Like, I need someone who's gonna be in office, who's gonna
look out for you.
Look out for the people. Not even for me. Just look out for the people of their country.
See, and I think if the Democratic Party were better at telling
I don't think people are like that, though.
I think if honestly, growing up the way I grew up, the reason I'm a Democrat is, and I'm not saying anybody should be, and I mean, everybody has their opinion, but
I don't know. It's all changed to me.
I will say, for what it's worth, I have grown up in a world that was Reaganomics and the idea of Reagan and trickle-down theory. The idea that you put money in wealthy people's pockets, and they reinvest that money by hiring people and by... To a point, I think that works. When you talk, if you combine middle America to be your millionaires that own a small business.
Honestly, I think middle class gets fucked.
Yeah, no,
Always.
and that's the thing. And I think that's where Democrats, if they would do this, if they'd say, look, if you're a small business owner... And I think, honestly, in my view, the Democrats are more likely to do it than the Republicans. Maybe I'm wrong. But my view is, if you said, look, a lot of small businesses do not make a ton of money. On paper, you might make $1 million a year. The reality is you probably don't make that much.
Probably not.
So if we upped the level of people that are considered middle class because we have too much...
What's middle class, though?
Well, that's my point. If you can have a small business, if you're rich, but you're
middle class?
Let's say, okay, so where we live, Kennewick rich, right? You have a nice house on the hill.
What's that, though?
Let's say a 3-story house, and you got 2 really nice cars in the driveway. And
I don't give a fuck about a house. How much income?
Let's say
that's where they're
$1
gonna
million
go off of.
a year. Let's say $1 million
I'm not doing that shit.
No, listen to me.
That's not rich.
Would you listen to me for a few minutes?
Yeah.
My point is, you make that middle class.
That's not middle class. $1 million a year.
Listen to me, bro.
Okay.
I'm saying, where do we hedge that money from? Where do you balance that out? You go after the people with the billions of dollars. You go after the people that single-handedly could pay for the homeless crisis. The hypothetical Shackler family.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Who would be the million billionaires in Kennewick that would be...
No. Bro, that's why it's a federal system.
You know what I mean?
If you as a federal government taxed billionaires...
Do you know
Britain used to have a 90% tax?
I want Finland's been...
That's a lot. That's a lot. I would not ask ever that we take 90% of anyone's income.
I do.
But when Jeff Bezos, like you said, can hire to have a bridge torn down to get his yacht out to rebuild it, that's too much freaking money.
That's so much
when
money.
The rest of the country's suffering.
Dude,
so my
can you
point
imagine?
is, can we just agree that maybe billionaires who have definitely benefited from our society and continue to benefit from our tax dollars in very direct ways, could we not offset our middle class tax burden a little bit on the backs of multi-billionaires who do very, very well in this system?
Yeah, I agree.
I believe in fair taxation. I believe in paying taxes. I agree. Middle America has been screwed on both ends for so long that's where the rage comes from.
Can I agree with something?
Yeah, go for it.
We're both fucking drunk.
Nah.
I'm drunk. And we should probably end this podcast because it's been fucking almost 2 hours. An hour and 44 minutes.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys are going to hear all this.
Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there just because.
If it's almost 2 hours, I think it's time to stop. Yeah.
It's probably time to stop.
What time is it?
I think in the end of the day, just, you know what? We're a fucking... Well, that's the first... How much was that fucking first one?
It was a while. All right.
Can you hover over... No, the next one over. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how much that one is. Anyway, but anyway, like, I don't know. I agree with you, Tom. Like, I do think there's a point where it's like... We can only do so much, right?
Yeah.
And
It doesn't need to be on the backs of the middleman. It needs to be on the backs of the super rich. And I'm not saying you screw them where they can't survive anymore.
Yeah. I agree with you.
But you're still going to be a billionaire if you have 283 billion or if you have, 150 billion. And,
like for us as middle class fucking citizens, I just really feel like it's really hard on us.
And I just don't understand why, if we can vote for that, if we can demand that, why we as Americans don't just demand that.
Because
if we're looking out for, because I'm telling you, billionaires, they give money to who they want to look out for them. If we come together collectively and just say, you're going to pay for it, and we make them do it, guess what? They're going to do it.
You know why? Because they're fucking white. They're not Latinos. If they were Latinos, they would be like, fuck you, bitch.
Yeah.
They'd be so stubborn.
All I know. I'm white. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know.
I agree with you, Tom, bro.
I do. I don't know. I
can't say much because I'm living a very the life I have right now is nice.
Yeah, like, mine too.
I can't complain that I'm poor. I'm like struggling for things. Like I'm living a good life, something I've built and I've worked my ass off to provide for my family.
Right.
Am I living the life maybe I would love to live for them? Because in the end of the day, I would love to be able to support me, my wife, my family, and all that.
Yeah.
And have that extra. Can I do that?
Secure.
Can I do that now? No, I can't do that now. I can't. But I love the life I've built for my fucking family, and like, I won't take that back. And I'm gonna end it here because I'm fucking buzzing and I sound like a fucking piece of shit.
No, you don't. You sound
like a fucking thing.
But I think you're right. And I would like to add before we end, I would like to see people that made a drug problem real in this country pay for that. I would love to see people that are dying on the streets of fentanyl.
I love
not
fentanyl.
Die on the streets from fentanyl. I don't think America should have to deal with that issue and live with it because very, very wealthy people made money off of it and now get to just scapegoat the law. That's my issue.
I agree.
My issue is rich people billionaires, continuing to make things worse, never being held accountable, and the rest of us just get to deal with it.
I agree.
And I think in this country, we have enough wealth to solve a lot of problems.
We do.
We don't need a bunch of kids growing up in poverty.
This is going to be the longest podcast ever.
And whatever. I mean, hey, I just want everybody to do their part and contribute and be happy and healthy. And that is our podcast. We will probably be cutting this down a little bit.
We're going to leave it alone. What are we at right now?
Well, we're only at an hour 17.
This is going to be like a 2-hour podcast, bro.
No, I don't think so. I think we were like 20 minutes in before.
An hour and 45 minutes.
We'll see.
I'm going to say hour 47 minutes and 3
And to all my Republican friends and listeners, you know what? I love you too.
For Republicans. I don't give a fuck.
Hey, vote whatever you want.
Actually, I don't give a fuck who people vote for.
I know what I believe. You know what you believe. We all love this country. That's the big point.
I just love having sex. I don't give a fuck who you vote for.
Podcast typically.
It's so political. It's the most political podcast you ever heard.
This is a family podcast, darn it. And
it's
we're gonna talk
political.
Next week, we're going to Dr. Phil.
I'm going to say opposite.
We're going to Dr. Phil this thing. Next week, do you have a dog with a sexual affliction? We want to hear your story.
Let's pause for a minute.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
In about a month. Right? A month?
Yeah.
26th?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have a gal on that's going to talk about raising teenage kids, daughters, period, whatever.
Yeah, this is actually going to be pretty cool.
If you guys have any questions or concerns or anything you would love us to bring up to this lady, please reach out to us and let us know, because I would love for us to bring those up to her, because raising teenage daughters, this is not easy.
It's not always an easy thing. That's true.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, raising a teenage boy is so easy." Yeah. You know what? Fuck
I don't know
you.
yet. I don't know yet.
My son's 10, and he acts like he's fucking 64.
He just hit a moment, right? Though, like, didn't you say this year he's hit like a moment that he's having a hard time? Yeah.
Hates school for some reason. He's a fucking this. He's a
But
smart.
he loves school. He actually loves school. He's a smart boy.
He's very smart. Yeah. His writing is impeccable.
He's a good writer.
He is a dude. There's stories. Me and Alicia told him, "Hey, there's this story." Because there's this story. Tom knows it. When I was younger, I thought it was a werewolf.
Yes.
We told my son, write a story about your daddy thinking he's a werewolf.
He wrote a story?
Not yet, but he better.
He better.
Or he's grounded.
I was expecting the best story ever.
Oh, dude, he'll write a great story.
He will.
JJ is very, like, he has this great little mind.
Very
and, like,
articulate that way for his writing.
Yeah. So I told him, like, hey, yeah, write a story about me being this fucking little piece of shit, fucking, like, whatever.
You know how I know you're buzzed?
Because
call
I'm
yourself a
fucking
piece of shit when you're buzzed.
I always talk about.
You're a wonderful person.
I'm such a
You're
big
wonderful.
You know
this
what?
guy is a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful dad. But you brought up a really good point. Before we end.
Hey,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Actually, guys, I don't really actually feel like I'm a piece of shit. I was saying some shit that's funny just to be funny.
Not
I actually feel really good about who I am.
he's really cocky, actually.
No, actually, this is something I was going to bring up before we started getting all this political rant.
Which we shouldn't have. We apologize.
No, we don't. But one thing I think is crazy, and Tom, I hope you agree with me.
Yeah.
Do you guys who exercise and fucking do all this fucking gym shit, and
gym rat friends.
blah 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 blah, we try to get into shape or whatever?
Yes.
Do you ever look at yourself and kind of feel it? Like for me lately,
I used to.
No. For me lately, I see myself and I'm like, bruh, I kind of look.
Yeah,
I tell Alicia, I was like, babe, I kind of.
You started to get that silhouette going.
Like I can't lie to myself.
Like I'm looking at you.
I look good. Like, why is it such a bad thing to feel like you look good?
It's not.
Like for me, I feel like I look
the only thing I don't like is when I start to get in shape, then I focus on it too much.
Bro, I look at myself all the time.
Because you're doing good. This guy, you've lost weight, and I can tell. Like,
I'm about
your clothes are fitting good. I'm not there yet, but I do.
172.
I do remember when I was first dating Blanca, I was like exercising a lot, and I got to the point where like where I had like pecs.
Tell me.
For the first time in my life, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I just every time in my mind I was still this fat guy. In my mind I still was like this flabby, out of shape person, and then I would look in the mirror and see something that literally would shock me every time I saw it. And it was the craziest, coolest feeling, which is probably what you're experiencing right now.
No, and that's what I was gonna get at. I see myself, and I've never seen myself as a person that was like in shape or
yeah, right. Your internal
like I don't think I'm an ugly person.
Yeah,
right. I've never thought I was like this ugly fucking person.
You're not an ugly duckling, right?
But I've always thought like, whatever. I look like my body's whatever. I'm a dad bod. I got
yeah.
I'm a hairy fucking piece of shit. Like blah blah blah. But like lately, I'll weigh myself and I'm like, I'll look at myself and I'm like.
yeah.
And I don't say anything because I don't want to like.
That's not until you're on the podcast.
I'm not very like narcissistic.
You're not going to say anything until you're talking to 3 people that listen to the podcast.
Yeah, for real. So like,
Mike, your mom, and your dad are going to hear you talking.
So I'll look at myself and I'll be like, bruh, like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, kind of good. Like I told Alicia, like. Babe, I'm not gonna lie, but like, I feel kind of good about myself.
yeah.
Like, I don't want to be a piece of shit, but like, I kind of
it's okay. It's okay to feel good.
And
about
and that's how she was.
Yourself. Yeah.
I kind of like it. Like, I know I'm not like fucking six packed out, but like I feel.
Is a six pack realistic? Is my.
I don't even care about six pack.
Yeah.
But for me, the thing I feel is I feel more in shape than have felt probably since I've been with Alicia, right?
Uh-huh.
Probably since I've felt since high school, really, to be honest with you. Like, I'm doing things that I probably didn't do. I could never do, really.
Yeah.
Forever. I'm sitting there running at a 1.5 incline, and the coach looked at me today, and he goes, he throws up the one.
You're doing too much.
You're doing too much. So I'm like, okay. So I throw
went
it down.
to
I'm running, and I'm like, oh, like this kind of feels too easy, right?
Because I'm trying to get that orange theory going, bro. Not that green
because
theory.
I'm like, before that, I had been running at 1.5 incline for the last
So now you feel
2
like
weeks.
that's normal. Right?
That's normal for me.
Yeah.
Because 1.5 incline for me is like, okay. So he said that, and after he said that, I'm like, oh, okay. I changed it to 1, and then 10 minutes later, I'm like,
That's the bad boy Jesse over there.
I'm like, I'm gonna put that bitch up.
Beep, beep,
And then
beep,
he
beep.
goes, Jesse, I see you. I see you. And I'm like, well, I'm just saying.
Well,
like,
it's all right though, right? Like that's a good thing.
that is a good thing. I love
That's very
it.
impressive. Yeah.
Like,
No, this gym has been very good for me because it makes me push myself. You know what? Screw it. We're gonna do a long.
I'm so drunk,
I don't
dude.
know.
Where are we
I am
at?
not, luckily, but
I'm not drunk, but I'm
I
like
say,
buzzed.
who cares? We never do one this long. If
Wait,
we're
what?
still talking. It's only 100. It's only an hour 30.
What was the first one?
20. It was 20. It's an hour 50.
We're
We're at 2 hours.
Yeah.
We're gonna end it soon. Nobody
I don't give
cares.
a fuck.
They're not gonna listen to me on this point anyway.
I don't give a fuck.
This
if
is
they
all
do.
extra. Mike, he's told me, he's like, I was walking my dog and I was listening to the podcast. This is for Mike and your
I
mom
love
and your
Mike.
dad. Yeah, I love him too. Mike, I love you.
I think Mike hates me.
No, he doesn't.
I kind of do.
No, he does not.
I feel like Mike don't like me.
Yeah, I think it's because you don't know Mike. And I think if you were in
Probably.
the building and you were talking to him the way I do sometimes.
Mike's a good guy, though.
He's a very good guy. And you're a good guy.
No, that's the thing.
Oh,
Like,
I
with
do
Mike-
think. Can I tell you something that I've noticed though? When you drink, you do start talking poorly about yourself.
Well, because I think poorly of myself.
But you need to stop thinking poorly.
I know, but I already think poorly of myself.
Okay, so
No,
does that
I get where
exist
you're going.
when you're not drunk? Does that exist when you're not drunk? Do you feel poorly about yourself when you're not drunk?
You know, to be honest with you, I don't know. I've never thought about it.
You need to think about it when you're not drunk because it comes out when you're
Because
drunk. And,
when I'm drunk,
and I love you, bro, and I don't want you to feel that way.
when
You're
I'm
a
drunk,
very-
I've never thought of myself drunk. But when I think of myself not drunk, I never think of myself, right?
Well, think about yourself not drunk now that you're drunk. What do you think of you as a man now,
so
now that you're
confusing.
drunk? How do you feel about you as a man when you're not drunk?
I don't know. I have a very low self-esteem.
I want
of who
you to
I
I
am.
want you to separate yourself right now
Okay.
from the sober Jesse. I want you to pretend like you live next door to Jesse Barber.
This is what I'm gonna go throw it at you guys.
Okay, what do you think of your neighbor Jesse Barber? What do you see?
I really think a lot of myself. I have forever.
Not you, Jesse Barber.
My neighbor, I think he's a piece of shit.
Not your literal neighbor.
My neighbor Jesse Barber.
We're not getting anywhere.
He's
in
a
this.
piece of shit. Well, no, that's what you said, right?
All right, forget it.
You know what you said if your neighbor's Jesse
did, I
Barber,
did.
right?
All right, let's let you
No,
talk.
so
All right,
so
go ahead, go ahead.
let's talk for real, right?
Yeah,
hold
let's
on,
talk-
real
let's
quick. I gotta
talk
fix my earphones.
Yeah, go for it. Real talk. So
real
one of the things
talk.
we do talk about is mental health, and this is let's talk about this mental health.
Mental health wise, I'm very I feel good about myself, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm like I want to say a couple years ago or a year and a half ago, I was probably the opposite way, right? I felt very poorly of who I was as a person. And that's something I've worked on for a few years. And even though with the with how we run this whole thing or whatever, I still kind of feel poorly about who I am. I do think there's an aspect of me that I do feel like I've grown a lot, right? I think I'm very hard on who I am as a person. And it's very hard to say that that's going to change because I'm always going to be hard on myself. And that's something I'm trying to work on. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to like reach out to like a fucking professor,
A therapist or something.
therapist or whatever you fucking call those people.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how to say, hey, you know, I feel like I'm a piece of shit because a lot, you know, Tom knows, my wife knows, Blanca probably knows. A lot of times I do feel like I'm a piece of shit, right? And that's not necessarily because I'm trying to be like, oh, please feel sorry for me. Because I don't want anyone to ever feel that way.
Yeah, right. Clearly.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. When I say those things, it's because that's how I feel. Like I don't feel like I'm a good person. I feel like I'm a piece of shit. Like these are things I feel. Do I necessarily feel these things in these moments where I'm telling you that I feel this way? No, I don't. While I'm saying I feel like I'm a piece of shit, do I actually feel like a piece of shit? I don't.
That's good.
Right? Mm-hmm. Do I think there's things I need to improve? Of course, right?
Well, that's everybody. Yeah.
Everyone needs to improve, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I feel like I'm a good person.
You are.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about right now. Like I'm fucking drunk. Blah, 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 blah. Like I feel like I'm gonna eat someone's pussy. I don't know. I feel drunk. I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, I feel like how I feel. I don't want that to affect someone how they feel, right? Just because I feel like I can't express myself, I don't want the next person to feel like they can't express themselves because Jesse didn't express himself. No, please express yourself. If you feel like you do not feel like you belong, say that. Because at the end of the day, I feel that same fucking way. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I've always felt like a piece of shit. Am I a piece of shit? I don't think I am. But at the end of the day, I just want people to realize that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm. Is it kind of like when we talked about when you see yourself in your head?
Exactly.
And then you see yourself in the mirror and
exactly.
It doesn't align, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Do I think I'm these people? No, I don't think that I am, but I don't want you guys to feel like I'm.
But when you step away from that mirror,
well,
you forget.
and yeah. I don't want to say I'm this person or that person, and I don't want to give a perception that I'm faking something.
Oh, I don't think.
Because at the end of the day, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
This is how I think I am. This is how I blah, blah, blah. Yeah, maybe, maybe this camera tells you that the last 2 sessions, Jesse said, yeah, at this section, he feels like, he likes penis. And at the section,
I don't remember you ever saying that.
At this section, he feels like he likes vagina. But like, at this section, he feels like he likes this. Like, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I don't remember that coming up.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want shit to come out that way.
Oh, no, I think...
Like, I want shit to be, like... Jesse feels this way. Mm-hmm. Tom... Jesse feels... like he can't express himself because... if he says things, it'll come out... like he's misogynistic. But if Tom says the same shit, he comes out this blah blah blah.
I don't know how to expect.
I don't know how to explain it.
Get what you mean though.
But like the way we perceive things, I don't want those things to be different than what it is, right?
You don't want to like misrepresent.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
Right.
Things are going to be different for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I, to me, like me talking right now, do I have any idea what I'm talking about? Probably not, because I'm fucking buzzed, right? Because I'm a piece of shit in that sentence. And that's how I feel. No. Do I want to feel like a piece of shit? No, I don't. And does Tom's little people feel like, oh, Jesse looks like a little retard, a little piece of shit. Does Tom say that? No, he don't.
We're gonna cut that.
He's
one out
such
sure.
a good. He's a good guy. No, he doesn't even cut that out.
You're a good guy too, though. That's the thing.
Well, no, that's what I'm. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm not trying to like make fun of anybody in the sense of like the way I say things, right?
No, I gotcha.
I'm trying to say things in the sense that like this is how it is. You know, maybe he feels this way, maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, like this is how we are. I'm so drunk.
I
don't even know where fucking I'm going. I love everyone. Fuck everybody who thinks we're pieces of shit because we're fucking greats.
Honestly, if you don't like us, that's okay.
I don't give a fuck if you don't like us.
That's okay. But we love you all. And at the end of the day, mental health is an important thing. Jesse agrees with that. Jesse, I love you. You're not a piece of shit.
I know I'm not.
Nobody thinks that you are. And I know that you know you're not.
I know I'm not.
I know you know you're not. I think you've got a little metaphorical stepping away from the mirror that goes on sometimes.
I think that's what it is.
You got the fat kid in the brain, right?
Yep.
And you see that image when you step away, and then you look at the data and the information, and you go, wow, no, I'm actually a decent person. I do a lot for my family.
Yeah.
When I'm sober, I don't talk about anything, and nobody would
I think
ever
when
know
I'm
that
not
anything's
sober,
wrong.
I talk like really shitty about who I am.
I think when you are sober, you are very focused on everybody else, and when
I hate who I am when I'm focused.
But when you get drunk, I think you are willing to let loose a little bit.
Yeah,
and the problem
I agree.
is you got a dam built up.
Yep.
You got an emotional dam built up, and you got to let that water flow out.
Damn, bro. Look
You know
at
what
this
I'm
guy.
saying?
I want to punch him in his face.
Don't, please do not. But yeah, I mean, you got to let some of that water out.
No,
a
you're
little
right.
bit, you
You're
know,
right,
because you're a good person, and there's
agree.
a lot of people out there who are suffering with the same feelings of inadequacy, or you know, our culture, like we said earlier, puts a lot of pressure on all of us, no matter we're men, women, whoever we are, whatever we do for a living. It's insane the amount of pressure put on people to be better than ever before. And to feel like everyone's just waiting for you to fail, waiting for you to make a mistake. We can be better than that. And we need to be there to support each other.
Amen, brother.
We will, as you brought up.
Amen, brother.
It was very smart. We're going to end here, finally. Sorry, guys, much longer than we anticipated. It was a fun one. It's Friday night.
It's like 2 hours,
You know,
bro.
it's Friday night, bro. It's how we used to roll. We used to do 4 hours of this stuff. I don't know how.
It's crazy.
Sorry, Mike. This was a long dog walk for you. But he probably didn't make it to this point. For those of you that are still with us, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe nobody, if you're with us, we will have a guest on in a few weeks. And it's going to be really interesting to talk to her.
End of February.
The end of November. The end of November, actually. November 26th. We're
Guess
going to
what?
record.
I said the end of November, not February.
You did. That's right. I said
losers.
February. I'm sorry. I'm such a loser and an idiot.
I lied.
But we are going to have a
I love
discussion
you.
with her.
I'm sorry I fucked everything up.
No, you didn't.
I did.
I think this is great. We might wait to post just to make sure that you're comfortable with everything, but I think it was great.
I'm always great.
Humans need vulnerability. We are not perfect. We have our moments, but at the end of the day, really good things happen when we try to continue to be good people and when we really deal with real things. I don't think alcohol is always a great way to deal with these things. Don't get me wrong. But here we are projecting how we work through issues, how we don't listen to that, how we get to a place that is healthy and happy and good. And anyway, the point
No,
being,
he is right. I was kidding.
he is joking.
I'm a piece
and
of
because
shit
he's
when I
funny,
say that.
and he's not a piece of shit. And
I'm not.
we will be talking to somebody who
Her name's Brianna.
No, not even close.
Linguala.
She may not want her name associated with this episode, but
She
the
will.
episode that we are going to discuss with her, she is an expert when it comes to teenage girls and
yeah,
raising teenage girls. She's worked hard to develop. I believe she developed products that are. That are like healthier for kids, that don't have all the chemicals and the hormones and things that she believes her research really impacts kids. I don't know. I'm not a scientist or an expert, but I can't wait to talk to her about raising teenage girls. We both are raising a teenage girl.
We are.
2 teenage girls. Has raised a teenage girl.
I got a fucking one of my girls is she's gonna get married soon.
Yeah, that's right.
What is that called?
She's out of the teenage years. She's becoming a young woman. She's gonna get married.
Called?
Engaged?
I know. But
Is that the word? Or?
What's the like technical term?
Well, engaged.
She's engaged.
She is betrothed to be wed.
She's betrothed.
Is that what you're
Yeah.
betrothed to be wed? Okay. So she's betrothed to be wed. She's a young woman now. She's no longer a teenager. She's come through that. But you have another teenager that lives in the house.
Yep.
And you know,
like 15.
and so we as dads, and we talked earlier about gender roles and difficulties in being a man or a woman in today's society and what that means. Well, being a dad in today's society with a teenage girl, that can be quite a difficult thing as well. Thank you for playing with my leg. And you may have questions about that. If you are out there and you have stuck with us this long and you have any idea why you're listening to us, there is some depth here. And the question is, what do you want to know from an expert, from a woman who has a different perspective than our perspective?
For sure.
What would you want to ask somebody who has experience in this realm?
I like it.
What do you do for your daughters? How are you there for them? And then what perspective do you want us to give to her as dads in this role, working with daughters? Do you have any comments or ideas from that end that she can maybe comment on?
Dude, this swag guy loves him.
So I'm just so
I want to suck his cock.
No, he does not. No, he does not. All right. So that she will not bail on us if she wants to come on this show. We're gonna say goodbye.
Slurpy, brother.
We will be previewing this before.
I don't know why he's saying this shit. Like, he's so dumb. Why is he saying that?
I don't know. All right. We love you all. To 2 of the 3 audience, to Jesse's mom and dad, I'm sorry. I feel I feel a little responsible for this, but anyway,
Dude, I love Tom. Hey, anybody who
Who
what?
hates
I love this guy. This is my like brother.
You're my brother as well, and
Like,
I will
I
always
don't even
stand by
give a
your
fuck.
side.
I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I ruined everything. Stop. I ruined it all. Run away.
Bye.
I have to pee so bad.